Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Blockchain Community Day 2024 conference. And I'm your host, Sergei Konstantinov. And we've got a fascinating talk for you today. And Ivan Domaretskyi will be talking about the rise of attack detection and prevention systems in the hacked up Web3. Ivan, please join our virtual stage. Hello, Ivan.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. We can hear you. Thanks for being
Perfect.
here today. And please, Yvonne, just a couple of words about yourself.
Sure. Hi, community. Hi, Sergei. Very nice to be here. And yeah, as you mentioned today, I want to talk about the rise of real attack detection and prevention systems in our Web3 world and why actually I do care because I'm working for last 7 years on the cybersecurity privacy tools. And basically, yeah, it was Web2. I think most of us started the career from Web2 and for last 2 years, I'm working actually in Web3, finally, with a Hacken Extractor solution, which is actually is the monitoring, real-time monitoring and prevention tool for these kind of things on the market. So I really want to start our topic of overviewing, the situation we are currently in. And as we know that blockchain is growing, we know that security is something that all of us care a lot. And we know how much resources basically it takes to stay and keep our project secure. And that's good that on the market we have, let's say, standard, well established standard about audits and bug bounties, but with year over year stats regarding the hack, we know that it's not enough.
Okay, Ivan,
And
before we
yeah,
dive into your presentation, excuse me, let me just
oh,
give a quicker reminder to our audience so they could just while the talk is going on, if they have any questions, I just ask you, our audience, to drop your questions right into the chat, and we will get back to them at the end. Well, excuse me for interruption, Ivan. Go on. Thank you.
no problem. Yeah, I'm too passionate to share the topic. That's why I was in a rush a bit. Yeah, so basically, in our world, hacks are happening, security incidents are happening, and year over year amount of hacks is growing, and this is something we all care about. That's why I believe, with my background, that real-time systems should help here and should be this kind of remedy that we all need. And yeah, more data for us to check. This is report by Hacken about the hacks in 2023, and we can see that the winner in terms of amount stolen is access control. Again, key leakage, human not very careful with their stuff. And the winner with the number of accidents, it's actually rug pull things. So different stuff happening. Flash loan attacks, reentrancy, Oracle issues like phishing, honeypot. So like variety of vectors are huge. And for sure, checking the code can not always be the best decision in real time. To fix all of this. If we divide these vulnerability types in few sections, let's check few of them. And like access control that I mentioned before, we all know about them. It's like key leakage or role and authorization vulnerabilities, or which leads to like some proxy upgrades, unauthorized proxy upgrades. Also, we have financial vulnerabilities, which usually happen, like Oracle manipulations, asset disbalance, front runs. A lot of smart contract vulnerabilities also leads to some hacks, and this goes with reentrancy and flash loans as underflows and overflows. And kind of new type of vulnerabilities, or let's say it's a compliance. So basically, Rug pools and tokenomics, this is a huge topic to be aware of, and also blacklisted addresses and AML, KYC, KYB, it's something that projects really seeking to monitor nowadays to stay secured. And why we are talking about the topic like real-time detection, real-time protection, because you should be the first to know what happens within your project, what happens within your protocol. Because we're pretty familiar with the concept when in the Twitter, you check the message about someone has been hacked and then they're trying to do with that. And it's kind of wrong. I think you as an owner or you as an investor even, you should be the first to know about this stuff. And ideally, you should be the person who prevented it, or you should be in control of the situation. And basically, this is something that this real-time monitoring and prevention systems brings to the table, brings to the market. And if we look to the concept of how it's stacked with the current situation, with the security approach, it's very well compounded with security audits, which we know very well. It's a very common pre-deployment tactic. And then on the post-deployment stage, we have this variety of systems like monitoring that has monitoring, detection, and ideally protection capabilities, which actually helps projects, to stay with each layer to be more protected and be more on of control. And if shortly speak about this, like 3 layers of this post-deployment security systems, it's like monitoring. Basically, it's ability to check everything. Let's say to see everything, to see every transaction and state, and sometimes in addition we can track some off-chain things and like GitHub repository and some nodes and stuff like that. And then the next layer that was described is detection. And here comes some magic, let's say, because through this all amount of stuff you are monitoring, you need to find out what is wrong, what is not something you expect. So in here you actually divide authorized from unauthorized things and stuff like that, fraud from legitimate, and so on and so forth. And ideally to have this third protection layer, and actually it helps a lot because it's usually fully automated and it saves a lot of funds for projects if this layer is on its place. If we are talking about like Web3 product security lifecycle, again, which we all know, so this concept of real-time stuff, real-time security systems are really good addition to well-known tactics while you are developing your smart contracts, while you're doing, before the deployment, you're doing audits. And then this real world bring us some unexpected stuff. And here comes this real-time security systems, which brings you this post-deployment threat intelligence capabilities, and they brings this threat prevention. Sometimes these systems also can help you with incident response, but it's a bit different story. And here's like description and the picture how it basically works. So this monitoring detection, everything comes in, we monitor a lot. These systems can track everything, but then this black magic, as I mentioned, and different companies name it in different ways, like AI, ML, super nano detectors and stuff like that. But basically, and in the end, we have 2 outcomes. These systems, they trigger alerting, so your team or you can decide what to do. But the most efficient way is actually trigger the battle. So run these prevention actions that were actually preset up in your systems. And protection is pretty simple. You can do it manually after this monitoring detection showed you something, you can do it manually. You have some procedure and you run it, or again, it can be automated, and then in the end, you just check the report that you successfully saved like a lot of funds and stuff. So basically, this is something our solution work with. We have all these three layers like monitoring, detection, and protection. And I just want to talk a bit about use cases of this real-time monitoring and prevention systems that can be useful for the community. And basically, first case is about the huge exploit. The attacker, usually attackers, they use Tornado Cash to fund their wallet, fund their account. So basically the same way, first step was funding account on different chains. And then attacker exploited precious error within concrete liquidity pool. And actually the check failed by super small amount, but it was enough to drain the liquidity, and total loss was like $40 million across all chains. And possible response action should have been like pausing. I know that we don't like pausing. We don't like pause the functionality not to affect all other users. But when we are talking about the huge amounts and the critical situations, it's better to save funds rather than pause the whole functionality. And basically, after the first exploit, this automated action could have paused other chains, so funds on other chains could have been saved. And this is some kind of description and about how it basically worked, how it might work. And some detectors, they can vary from case to case. And in this case, balance drop detector will show us that like there is some balance drop, something happened, it's time to trigger the battle. And as we can see, after this first exploit, only on $7,500, we could save all other funds because all other functionality on other chains would have been paused. Okay, and next case. Sometimes I mentioned before that these real-time security systems, they even can help with the incident response. So in this case, some smart contracts were exploited, and client asked to check the infinite approval of the client to save money. And basically, because some of these systems and our has this flexible detector SDK that you can actually bring and write and create your own detector on your needs. We created a detector that actually triggered the rescue transfer whenever we saw this like specific address with a specific token and infinite approval. So we saved some funds of clients even after some hack happened. So sometimes if your system or system that you're using flexible enough, you can even use it for incident response. This was this case. And a bit about the key leakage and unauthorized stuff. So with some timings, we mentioned that protection can be manual or automated, but manually you're not all the time with your computer or system, so you can't react, and automated stuff works better. So here, again, it was key leakage, and again, the exploiter funded some account from Tornado Cash. Attacker deployed malicious implementation for proxy and then accessed that account with the leaked key and upgraded the proxy with his malicious implementation. And basically, first wallet upgrade was, as you can see, it was took some 6 minutes, and the upgrade for contract with the most assets took 3 more minutes. So it's a matter of minutes. And then in the end, attacker withdraw everything within 1 minute. So basically here, few vectors of prevention could have been used. It's like ownership change whenever your system detects some upgrades when it shouldn't be upgraded. You change the owner, so even no one to some safe account, and no one can do further upgrades for proxy contracts. You again can do rescue like preset up rescue transaction whenever there is some unauthorized upgrade, and transfer all your funds to some safe vault, or again, like the most common one is to pause functionality, but we have like two more. You can do ownership change or rescue transaction, so there is no need to preset up pause functionality here. And basically in this way, after the first upgrade, even before money was withdrawn, you could save all your funds. And pretty new topic on the market, not new, but I would say hot topic on the market. It's the regulation compliance monitoring, because now we have more regulations coming to the market, and different, let's say, authorities, they want to monitor, they want to know, they want you to be as much secure as it's needed for being present on their market. So in this case, these systems like real-time monitoring systems and prevention systems, they can help these authorities to oversee all transactions and have some reports to verify and check all crucial functions and events like mint and wrap things, and check, for example, also governance algorithm. And the most hot topic, I would say, these systems should, in nearest future, should be able to verify the audit relevancy. This is something we are hearing more and more on the market. And this is something very crucial for regulators to check if the audited contract is still relevant one. And a few words more about the regulation. We know that in Europe, MiCA regulation is going to happen very soon. And again, concept of real-time monitoring and prevention system can help you, using the systems can help you to be prepared for these regulations. Because basically, assets protection, it's something this real-time monitoring prevention systems do for you. AML monitoring, again, you can do it with these systems. Governance monitoring and transaction reporting, again. So real-time monitoring and prevention is good use, not for only for security, but nowadays also it takes some place with this regulation stuff that's happening. So check the regulation, and for sure check the provider who will help you to comply within this regulation. And like all of this is about the battle that might happen with your protocol and project, and it's better to be prepared for the battle and hope it will never happen. But if it will, you're prepared. So my advice here, to even though it sounds very simple, like monitor some basic stuff like upgrades or transfers and something else, do it. There is hacks happens within very, very easy flow, like tornado cash funding, some malicious smart contracts deployment, and then some unauthorized stuff. So do as much as you can and be prepared, basically. And again, regulations are coming, so these systems will help you even to comply with regulations. And here my presentation is over, so would be awesome to answer a few of your questions. Sergei, are you here?
I'm here. So, about questions. Since, well, Who sets the regulations? The government?
Oh, it's it's a very interesting topic. Basically, some let's say economical zones. We know that ADGM, it's Abu Dhabi Economical Zone, and they have this regulator ADGM, and they set the regulation. In Europe, it's some, not the government, but some institutions, they set the regulation. And this is something we found out that the it's another use case for all this real-time monitoring and prevention system, not only not being hacked, but also to help projects to comply with regulations. So yeah, it's basically regulators, not government, usually.
Okay, we have a question. What does it take to set up such a monitoring system?
It depends on your provider, but basically talking about our system, which is Hacken Extractor, it's pretty simple. You just add your smart contract addresses, and then it's automatically turn on main detectors, our AI detectors. And then if you want some prevention, there is, again, no code integration, but there is the wallet, and you give some limited rights within your contract to this wallet, and this wallet can perform some actions, predefined actions. So basically no code changes needed, and it's pretty easy. That's why I mentioned do it. It's not so hard as you think. Yeah, again, it depends on provider, but usually it's pretty automated. Just add your address, and at least you will know what is happening.
Okay, thank you. Well, what if I am just a regular, cryptocurrency user, with a with a simple wallet that I have, like maybe a MetaMask or whatever? How can I protect my assets?
Um, it goes a bit different way. I would say with this, if you're talking about the this security systems for smart contracts,
Yep.
basically you can track and check the projects you're investing in or you're following. It will be very helpful about how legitimate they are, how often they do some transactions, big or small, like some balance drop again and stuff like that. Because for let's say private protection of assets for wallets, there are a bit different type of products. They are like even some Chrome extension and stuff like that. So in terms of private protection, I would say go with some wallet protection, like wallet transaction screening. But even though you think about investing to some company, you can monitor their smart contracts, and you can be sure that they doing well, and they you can securely invest in them. So I would say this way.
Well, thank you. Well, if probably something bad happened and let's say somebody hacked me or in the company or whatever, and the assets are lost, is there a way to get them back?
uh, Nowadays there are few ways to, like, there are chances to win them back. uh, let's say it doesn't take the part of this real time security systems. If everything lost, you can't come back the transaction. But then working with the providers and working with some let's say exchanges, even you can report the address, and then as it happens, sometimes the attacker will bring you back some funds and negotiate with you to be unblocked, because the attacker can't use the money. So basically you blacklist this address everywhere, and no one wants these assets, so these assets are stuck. And then this kind of negotiation, like, bring back me something and I will unblock you and stuff like that. So this is the common way we see, and it's sometimes it's fun to watch and monitor these negotiations. Like, I'm your attacker, I will like give you this amount, not 100%, but 90%, like unblock me. And then they like, okay, and this kind of deal is happening.
Well, that's an interesting experience, and
You can check. You can check. Yeah, it's fun. Sometimes it's like really fun to check.
well, and there's another question. How do we deal with the government? I would even say with governments, because this like system is spread across the globe, and uh, what governments do about this? I mean, do they want to control? Do they control? Do they pass some laws to like enforce some kind of control for like cryptocurrency assets movement, etc.?
So it's more like market related question, but I like it because we are like
Hmm.
we need to be on top of everything. And basically, yeah, when the government sees that they lose an opportunity to to have some money, to earn some money, for sure they're trying to regulate. And basically, it's not the government as government. Usually we have different authorities like SEC in United States, some another authorities in EU. So they are doing this kind of regulation. And what I think now, that when you try to when you analyzing this regulation, you find pretty simple things like I mentioned, AML monitoring, some proof that you have assets protected, and this is pretty simple stuff in terms of understanding within all of these regulations. And here you know how to fight as a Web3 project. You just implement and secure all this basic stuff, and then even when this new regulation will come, you will show that you already done this, because it's not the rocket science. It's like AML, anti-money laundering stuff, and then this transactions, and then this QIC and stuff like that. So for sure they will. Let's be honest. They will try to be more and more here. They will try to regulate us, but no worries. I would say that there are a lot of things that will help you in the market to to comply. And again, from my speech today, you know that it's new use case for these real-time security systems. They can help you. You show that you have this kind
Hmm.
of system onboarded. It's assets protected in this way. You show only them. You're not showing to the market. Protected this way, incident response this way. Like we are checking all blacklist and like fraud addresses. We don't allow them. So you're pretty much ready. So yeah, it will happen, but I think we should not be afraid of. Just prepare. Prepare
Yeah.
for the battle. Both sides prepare for the battle
Uh-huh.
from attackers. Yeah, and prepare, let's say, for the battle with this over regulation stuff.
Uh, well, I thought when we talk about blockchain, we mean anonymity. So, could we stay still anonymous?
That's a good question. It's a good question, but uh, it's the balance, because
Hmm.
uh, these regulations for sure will go more towards not anonymity but security, let's say. So you can't, like, bad actors can't do bad
Hmm.
stuff with the assets, but still it can be some ID with like anonymous ID, which checked within the whole systems, and it's clear. So it's like blockchain also about transparency. Like you can track everything. So this is the like balance about the anonymity and transparency. And here comes the stuff where, like, will this ID be tailored to you as identity or not? So
Hmm.
I think we will manage not to be tailored like personally, but we should play, safe game on chain and don't do transactions with not like very, let's say, clean and clear accounts and wallets.
Okay, Ivan, thank you for this insightful presentation and for asking questions. I mean, answering questions.
Thank
So,
you for having me.
Well, since we're pretty tight on the schedule, and I would like to thank you, Ivan, for such an enlightening talk.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank our audience for joining our talk. Well, if you still have any questions, please write them into the chat, and we will pass them to Ivan, and you'll hit back to you with answers. Thank you very much. And well, up next we have a talk on recent techniques used in zero knowledge, succinct, non-interactive arguments of knowledge, short for ZK snarks. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Bye bye.